Thank you, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm very happy to be here, and I would like to thank CECE for this invitation. I really hope that the fact that I'm here today is taken as a sign that the European Commission do care about your sector. We recognize it as an engine of growth, big employer of hundreds of thousands workers, and a great contributor to our trade surplus in the machinery sector. And I'm also quite pleased to see that the analysis which has been laid out by Mr. Prandini on where we stand and what should be the priorities for the future is very much in line with our analysis. As our President Juncker said in the State of the Union speech in September, in fact, the European Union now is out of the crisis. We have been, now growth stands above 2%. We had 25 consecutive quarters of growth. And this has led to the creation of 12 million new jobs since 2014. But many challenges still ahead of us. We have to be vigilant. Mr. Prandini mentioned trade protectionism, what is now so-called trade war between the US and China. Well, this is one of the elements we have to be vigilant about, and you may know that we have started a new phase of discussions with our US counterparts with the aim to discuss cooperation on regulatory issues, and machinery is one of the issues which is going to be discussed. Now, Mr. Prandini mentioned internal market, industrial policy, digitization. These have been priorities of the Juncker Commission, ensuring a fairer and deeper internal market, and I will mention to you later on one of the main initiatives under that. We came out with a strategy on industrial policy, a strategy on digital single market. We have many proposals which have been adopted under those strategies. Many of them are still being discussed with the European Parliament and the Council. So we are in the last year of the Commission. That doesn't mean that there is still a lot of hard work to do. We are still in full swing, and there are more than 250 proposals on the table with the European Parliament and Council. So today I've been asked to focus on pieces of legislation which obviously are of more direct impact on your sector, and in particular, I'm in charge of the Machinery Directive and what we all hope will be a new future regulation on the road circulation. But we have to put that in the context, in the current institutional context, where, as I say, this is the last year of the Commission, still many items on the table, but difficult to come up with new major legislative proposal simply because of the timing, because it would not make sense to table proposal which cannot even be assessed by a parliament who's going to go for election in May. So first of all, before going into the two proposals which we hope will be coming with the next Commission, which are of relevant impact to your sector, let me mention a few issues on which the Commission is still working, this Commission is still working. Under the single market strategy, we adopted a proposal, so-called goods package. And the main aim of this proposal is to strengthen market surveillance. Yesterday I was discussing with some of you, and I think we hear many times from manufacturers the statement, it doesn't make sense to have yet stricter rules in order to protect, to enhance safety, to protect the environment, and then these rules are not complied with. We cannot agree more. And this is why we have tabled this proposal. The proposal aims at strengthening market surveillance, making sure that the rules are respected, because if the rules are not enforced, not only the level of protection that we want to achieve will not be met, but there will not be level playing field. And this will create distortion of competition. Now, the proposal is on the table. It aims at enhancing cooperation among market surveillance authorities, cooperation among customs authorities, and we even want to set up a compliance network with the Secretariat, which will be ensured by the Commission. So let's hope that this Parliament and the Council will come to a political agreement, and I think this is something which all industrial sectors, and also your sector, will benefit from. Then what's also coming still under this new Commission, we will have a communication on the 25 years of the single market. And this will be an occasion to celebrate what is probably the biggest achievement of the European Union, but also will be the instance where we will take stock of remaining barriers and what still needs to be done. And I think this is in this context that then our proposal on road circulation should be set, because this is indeed one gap of internal market. Your products already are highly harmonized when it comes to safety of the workers, when it comes to, through the Machinery Directive, when it comes to emissions, through the non-road mobile machinery regulation, but road circulation it's not. It is still a national level. This creates additional costs for manufacturers who have to go through different homologation procedures, but this also does not ensure a coherent level of safety, road safety protection across the EU. Now, we have heard to you and to your call that we should harmonize those rules. And we are very much convinced that indeed this should be done. We have done already a lot of work. Now, as I said, this is, the Commission set to itself sort of cut-off date as of May this year, and we basically said ourselves we should not come up with a new legislative proposal after that date, because, as I said, then Parliament will not have the time to go through them. And unfortunately, at that time, we were not ready, because the proposal, a major initiative, requires an impact assessment, and also because, let's be frank, this is a complex proposal, and we require a lot of technical work. So we have anyhow continued and carried out a lot of technical work. We have concluded a study, an impact assessment study. We have had 2 workshops, and we are now launching a further study to complement to try to find missing data, especially with respect to cost-benefit analysis, which then will make our future impact assessment more robust. Now, obviously, we will have to present this proposal to the new Commission, and in particular to the new Commissioner for Growth and Internal Market, to convince him, her, of the good reasons for going forward with this proposal. I am confident that with your support, with you standing behind this proposal, with the examples you may provide to us, with the figures that you may provide to us, we will need figures in order to go through our impact assessment board. We will manage to convince the new Commission. I cannot predict, but we will do our best so that this happens. As I have said at other occasions, the fact that there has been this, what may be perceived as a delay, I think we should turn it into an opportunity. We have done a lot of technical work, and industry has done a lot of technical work, for which I would like to thank you. And that will allow us, when we come with a proposal, to also have a very clear idea of the technical requirements of all which will need to be put in the implementation measures. And if we have these clear ideas, then it will be easy for the negotiations with the Council and Parliament. So this is with respect to the road circulation proposal. As I said, next step will be a study complementing the study which we have already carried out, and then we will have stakeholders consultation and specific consultation targeted to the member states. The other piece of legislation I deal with, and which is very relevant for your sector, is the Machinery Directive. Now, we have carried out an evaluation of the Machinery Directive, and in line, I think, with what is the general perception by the stakeholders, we have concluded that the directive worked well, that it managed to contribute positively to the two objectives of the directive, which are enhancing safety and ensuring a smooth functioning of the internal market for machinery products. Yet there are margin for improvement, and this is namely with respect to certain clarification of definition or the borderline with other pieces of legislation. But then there is something on which we also would like to reflect, and which is linked to one of the priorities which was put forward before, which is digitization. One of the elements which came out of the evaluation is that the directive has been very good in allowing innovation to take place. Yet stakeholders, they start believing that with the new digital technologies, in particular artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, there may be limits to what the Machinery Directive can do. So we have to reflect together whether there is a need to revise the directive in that sense, or to make certain of the essential requirements more explicit. And I'm thinking there, for example, of having ensuring accountability and transparency of algorithms, for example, or ensuring cybersecurity as a way to have safety by design. So these are the elements on which we are reflecting. We would very much like to have your contribution on that. Again, this will be a proposal for a new commission. It will be a proposal which will go then to Council and Parliament. We cannot predict at this stage whether the new commission will validate it and will let us go forward with that, though we presume yes. And anyhow, we are allowed to go forward with preparatory work, and we are about to launch an impact assessment study. And in that context, you will also be consulted. So these are a few highlights on what is going on. As I said, still work on the table of this commission, so don't think that because we are in the last year, we are all on holidays. No, we have more than 250 proposals on the table, single market communication to come. We, and this is also my unit, we will come forward with a report on assessing whether the existing safety and liability framework are still fit for purpose with respect to artificial intelligence. This is a report which should be adopted by mid next year. So still a lot of work under this commission, but more importantly for what concerns you directly, preparatory work in order to pave the way for political validation of the road circulation proposal and the revision of the Machinery Directive. We very much count on your support, on your input. I hope that my presence here is also a sign of this dialogue, which I understand you say that it may have been difficult in the past. Well, I hope it's not going to be difficult in the future. And from my side, all availability to have this continuous dialogue. And please don't hesitate to come to me and to ask for more details on what I just highlighted today. Thank you.